once again, welcome you all. And I'm going to show a really short clip of a video. And so give me a second to share my screen. You know, always got to get these things going. So give me just a quick minute here. And let me share my sound. Boy, so many things to do, right? Okay. And of course, it changed on me. Okay, here we go. Great. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Seth now.
All right, good evening, everybody. Wasn't that a great clip? Some of those things I didn't even know about UC Riverside, but it's a great and wonderful school, and I'm glad to be here. I want to welcome all of you, and I want to welcome our panelists here tonight, making this webinar possible. So before we get into asking our panelists the questions for the evening, I'd like each of them to give a brief introduction of themselves and where they are in life and a bit of highlights about themselves. So please, Hal McKinley, would you start us off?
Sure. How are you all doing from good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are? My name is Hal McKinley. I was an AGSM, UCR AGSM MBA graduate in 2019. I currently work for Northrop Grumman, which is a defense and aerospace company. And I'm currently located in Virginia, near the Washington, D.C. area. And I'm serving there as a HR business partner.
All right, next up we have Krishna.
Hey guys, I'm Krishna. I was in the MBA program and I graduated in 2016. I held a few positions in the tech and entertainment industry, and currently I'm a lead technical program manager, and I am one of 4 cross-functional leads leading a team of 20 engineers at Google. I work on everything from product strategy to and inception to team and work structure to execution and delivery. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'll go ahead and go next. Hi, everyone. I am Diana Colgrove. I'm also part of the MBA program, graduated in 2012. And right now I currently work for a company called Accela. We create software for state and local governments to deliver government services, do permitting, licensing, building, all sorts of services, especially relevant right now with COVID-19 and everything being, working from home. So we've been seeing a lot of growth. I've only been here about 4 months, but before that I spent a number of years at Esri, which is a GIS company. I'm still in Southern California, pretty close still to UC Riverside. And I'm a product marketing manager at Accela, and we work on a lot of the messaging for the products that we sell and the software that we sell, both internal and external messaging, and making sure that we are talking about our products the right way.
All right, I'll go next. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. My name's Eric. I graduated from UCR with my bachelor's, actually, economics in 2016, and from the AGSM MBA program in 2018. And straight after my graduation, I'm now working at the Disneyland Resort. I'm the strategic sourcing analyst, so I'm part of the team that helps make all of the churros and turkey legs and you name it, anything in the park. So that's what I do, and I analyze all of that spend. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alice Lee. I'm happy to be here. So I graduated from UCR AGSM at 2018. The program I attended was the MBA full-time program. And after I graduated, I joined AT&T through their leadership development program. And I have been with the company ever since. And due to the rotation program with the company, I have held multiple positions ranging from construction engineering management to entertainment to right now product marketing. So currently I am a lead product marketing manager at the wireless sector of AT&T.
All right, thank you, panelists. Thank you so much. And now we will be asking you some well-thought questions and hopefully some well-thought answers. First question is, grad options. Describe your path to AGSM. Where were you before pursuing a business degree at UCR? Why did you ultimately choose AGSM? Diana, let's have you start off this one.
Sure. So just like Eric, actually, I was also at UC Riverside doing an undergraduate degree. I was there for 4 years for my business administration degree, actually right before joining the MBA program. So, end of the 4 years of undergrad, trying to find a job, think about what you're going to do next. I was working in retail management full time, so doing that and going to school. And I just kind of felt like I needed maybe a couple more years of education to really understand like what I want to do, where I want to go, what industry I want to get into. So I started looking at grad programs. Obviously, because I was at UC Riverside for my undergrad program, close to home. I know the campus. A lot of the professors that teach an undergrad are also graduate program professors. So I felt I knew them. I knew the area. I was enjoying the program and enjoying the campus and my fellow students. So applied and, luckily actually was offered a fellowship and chose to go to AGSM and pursue the MBA straight after my undergrad, obviously after the summer, but straight there. So 6 years at UC Riverside for me. And actually only in the last 2 did I move out to Riverside, which I highly recommend, to really immerse yourself in the campus and be around your classmates in the MBA program. But yeah, so that's how I got to the program.
All right, yeah, UCR 6 years. I'm glad I'm here. It's been a while here. It's a great school. Next,
Sorry, yeah, I'll go ahead and kind of jump off of that. I was in that exact same boat, right? I did my first 4 years in UC Riverside, bachelor's in economics, and straight after graduation, I went straight into the MBA program. And the reasoning behind that was, I felt that in the last year of the bachelor's program is when I really got into like the subject matter that I wanted to study. And then like, oh, well, you're graduating. Like, oh, I wish I could have kept learning, in that field. So that's what led to the decision, like, all right, 2 extra years to really dive into, which was analytics, right? I really enjoyed analytics, specifically marketing and supply chain analytics. And AGSM seemed like a really good fit in that field. Plus, it helped that I was very familiar with the campus and the professors in there, because I did consider other schools, right? CBU, which is also in Riverside, or even Cal State San Bernardino, which isn't too far off, but it just felt like those programs weren't a correct fit to what I wanted to learn. And UCR's program seemed like a really good fit. So ultimately, I decided to stay those extra 2 years, and I definitely loved it. It was a really fun 2 years, and I learned a lot. and obviously helped me land the job that I'm in today. So, yeah.
Nice. It's good to hear. Krishna, you're up next. Let's hear it.
Cool. So similar to Diana and Eric, I'm also in the same boat. I did my undergrad at UCR, and my undergrad was in computer science. But I realized at the end of undergrad that I didn't want to be a software engineer. I wanted to utilize those skills for something greater, and I had a penchant for leadership. So in weighing my options, I was in 2014, I actually had a dev interview with Google that I turned down so that I could pursue getting an MBA. So I turned that down, went to, applied to the grad school, got admission, and it was about 6.5 years at Riverside. Got the MBA, and then about 4 years after graduating with my MBA, I'm now at Google. So I guess it was meant to be. So
Thank you. Alice, you there?
Yes.
All right. How about you?
Yeah. For me, I actually undergrad, I started off as a material science engineering major. And right after college, I worked in a tech firm in research and development, focusing on new nanomaterial research. And I was doing that for a couple years, and I felt like I kind of have the industry experience, academic and also industry experience in the tech field. And being work in a new tech startup firm helped me realize that there's a lot like business thinking and business mindset behind the scene to push the research and development forward. And I found myself to be more intrigued and interested in the business process behind the technical scene. And I realized that that's the next step I want to pursue further in my career track. So with that in mind, I wanted to get further education in business specifically so that I can pursue that path further. And MBA makes sense at that time. And I was actually researching a couple different MBA schools, and I went to UCLA for undergrad. So I definitely want to stay within the UC brand. I feel like it's a really strong brand in SoCal specifically. And when I was looking at some of the academic curriculum at UCR, it checked a lot of my boxes because I felt like coming from an engineering background in undergrad, I wanted to really take the time to get down to the foundation of a lot of the business academia. And the curriculum that UCR offer check a lot of the things that I was looking for. And also, secondly, considering I'm quitting my job and doing MBA full-time, I need to also be realistic and think about like cost of living when I pursue my grad education. And being in Riverside, I lived in Riverside for a couple of years before, and I'm familiar with the neighborhood, and it is a lower cost of saving compared to West LA area. And so that was another thing that kind of like add on to my decision-making process.
All right, thank you.
So my story, prior to getting my MBA at UCR, I was working for a church for about 3 years. And in the nonprofit world, it's very common to wear multiple hats, which I enjoyed, and it actually kind of helped position me into my HR career here. But I really wanted to make a shift into corporate America, and I found it kind of hard to do that from the position that I was at working for the church. So I wanted to use my time at UCR to really reboot myself and kind of reimagine my career. And I came in actually pursuing finance, but I found my niche in another space, which was in human resources, and it all worked out. One of the reasons I chose UCR over other schools was One similar to Alice, I looked at UCLA. One of the things that I did have to factor was living there. I grew up in Riverside County, so I was able to live with my folks while I was getting my MBA, which was awesome. I also like the fact that UCR is really invested in our specific region. You might not know a lot about the area. Everyone knows LA and San Diego, but Riverside County and the Inland Empire, which is what the region is called, really has a lot to offer. There's a lot of things moving, and although it might not have the glitz and glamour, I really feel like the location kind of serves as like really the future of California in a small way. And being there, I got to kind of dig into that and learn more about what's going on just based off the resources that the university has. So it was great to be able to get my education in my community and to also catapult from there. And hopefully now I have something to provide back. I'm on this panel, so that's why I chose UCR.
All right, that was great. Thank you, panelists. We're going to go move on to our next question, talk a little bit more about industry. So industry outlook. Describe the outlook for your particular industry and how a business master's degree prepared you for this industry. Let's see, who should start us off here? Let's go with Krishna. Krishna, how about you take it away here?
Yeah, sure. So I think being in tech, the outlook of the tech industry is great, because these days technology is so embedded into everything that we do and we're trying to be, that it's you'll always find some flavor of tech in everything that you do. I don't really see the tech industry going anywhere, but I see it becoming more of something that enables and empowers a lot of people. So the flavor of tech, you'll see multiple flavors of tech. You know, there's tech that enables marketing. There's tech that enables accessibility work. There's work being done to get more technology out to more people. So the growth of the industry and the opportunity will always be there. The types of projects that tech will enable will continue to evolve. And, you know, I'm excited to see where it goes in like 5-10 years. The industry is now evolving into from a Web 2 to Web 3 structure to enable content creators to have more rights over their own content, which I think is really interesting to see how everything is going to unfold. So I'm really excited for the future of tech.
Yeah, I don't know what we do without our technology. Alice, let's hear from you next.
Yeah, it's a very interesting what Krishna has mentioned. I definitely agree to the importance of technology, and specifically to provide for the opportunity for everyone to have access to technology. You know, telecom is definitely, you know, like the key in the pipeline to a lot of technology that we live and breathe nowadays. And, you know, AT&T specifically being a traditional telecom company, it right now, from AT&T standpoint and also the telecom standpoint, we are heavily invested in 5G technology. So in telecom, you have to not only provide the kind of like the user end of the 5G technology, but also from laying down the fiber optics for setting up cell sites. You have to do all sorts of like hardware and software in order for you to lay down this data pipeline for all the technology service and products to become available. So right now, telecom is, you know, all eyes are on investing in finding more up spectrum, setting up more fiber optic cell sites, and also spreading 5G technology across the nation and provide for more of our customers in more different regions. And once we get transitioned into the 5G era kind of stably, and we have enough kind of like realization of the how it works and how it builds into our daily life, and it's a really bright future into the 5G utilization space. And we are talking about, like connected smart cities, connected cars, or sorts of lower latency in terms of our data using. And so being in the telecom industry, I'm really excited to see how we do our part and also provide this 5G network to the nation.
Eric, let's hear from you now too. Let's see what you think.
Alrighty.
Also, how about maybe including how you think the UCR business degree prepared you for the industry as well?
Sure, yeah. So specifically about the outlook of the industry, I'm going to speak to the theme park entertainment industry, right? Because I know Disney has their fingers in a lot of different pots with Disney Plus and all that jazz. But as far as theme park entertainment, I mean, we can't ignore the fact that like Disney closed their parks for like a majority of 2020 because of COVID-19, right? So that was a super uncertain time for, all theme parks in general, right? Theme park entertainment, very uncertain, along with a bunch of other industries. But speeding up to now, it's a little more certain, right? It's not all just doom and gloom. It's, we're actually busier than before the COVID-19 pandemic, right? The numbers that we got coming in are a lot higher. So it's interesting to see how, the entertainment industry has been affected. Especially in the field of work that I do, it's very much supply chain related. So all of the, shortages on like nitrile gloves and N95 masks early in the pandemic, like we had to deal with that because we still had to source those kind of things for our cast members, like hand sanitizers. Oh man, like hand sanitizers were super hard to, come by. And it still kind of is, right? Supply chain issues are still going on. So it's interesting to see, how that has happened. As far as UCR master's degree preparing me to work in this field, I've relied heavily on analytics to kind of predict where to source, these kind of different things from, or even just to predict the trends on like the pricing on chicken, or like, hey, there's a chicken wing shortage. What do we do? Should we source a different type of product? Do we remove this item from the menu, right? So the analytics has helped us, or helped me, help the team kind of predict, adapt. And not only did UCR provide that analytics background, it also gave me important people skills and leadership skills, because it's one thing to understand the analytics and like, hey, here's what the numbers are telling us. UCR taught me how to clearly communicate those to other stakeholders or people in my team to say like, hey, this is what the numbers show us. This is the next action point we should take, or here's how to mitigate what the numbers are telling us. So that's kind of how UCR prepared me to work in the entertainment field, and specifically in supply chain.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, now it's my time. All right, so as mentioned before, I work in defense and aerospace, and one of the big benefits right now, getting your master's and coming into this industry, there's a big drop off of really of baby boomers who are retiring. Our industry used to primarily be a lot of military veterans who will retire out the military, use their security clearances to work in these different roles, maybe use some of their past military experiences. But now what we're seeing, the majority of the people that we're hiring right now are young technical talents. So right now there's a big shift. And because of that, we're seeing a different type of diversity, I would say, in our industry. And for people getting their education right now, there's just a lot of opportunity open. I will say, honestly, I never saw myself working in this specific industry, but it provided me a great opportunity to really launch myself, which is what I wanted coming out of the MBA program. And actually the fruit speaks for itself, because I want to say I know of at least at least 5 individuals from the past few years that graduated who are with us, and there might be more. One of the other benefits, I'll piggyback off of what Eric mentioned. We spent a lot of time really digging in and focusing in on building up our technical skills, specifically that data analytics piece. And for myself, working in human resources, I think it gives me a cutting edge. And compared to some of my peers, stereotypically people who work in human resources don't like numbers. They might be good with people skills, but they don't like the numbers. I have both, and I think that's going to give me really an opportunity to hop into other roles if I'm interested. So I mentioned I was looking at going into finance. There's some opportunities for me to tie that in either in a direct way or just with some of the parts of our business that we support. So I support our finance piece, and I'm actually able to contribute and speak the language. I'm able to strategize when we're talking about compensation in a different way. So I think UCR definitely challenged me in those areas, but gave me some new skills, which have helped me succeed in my current role.
Thank you, Hal. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and go. So I think, the question of the outlook of the industry, sort of, I think I would consider, the industry that I'm in to also be, technology, but more specifically software. I think, software as a service is a big thing right now. Digital services is a really, in high demand. So I don't see, I only see growth in that industry, technology combined with software. For me, it's also, the government space. The government's not going away. So I think that's also, got a positive outlook. It's always going to be state, local, regional, national governments that need things, and specifically software, is where I'm at. So I'm not, at all concerned about the future of the industry. But to kind of answer that question about an MBA, I spent many years previously before my current role, also at a software geographic information systems company. And for me, I think the big thing was UCR, especially the MBA program, I think helped me understand that there's room for all areas of skill in every business. So I kind of had that mindset at the beginning, like, hey, if it's a technology or a software firm, it's engineers, it's developers, it's all of those people is what they need. But they need everybody, they need finance people, they need HR people, they need people that work in marketing. All of those skills are in demand regardless of the company and the industry. So there's room for everybody. And I think working at the MBA program and with, the diverse group of people that are part of the program in any given year, it's really teaching you how to interface with people from all walks of life, from all stages of their career, straight out of the undergrad or out in the field for 9 years and then coming back, whatever it is. I think that was one of the really important things that the MBA program taught me and helped me understand that I've now carried into the roles that I've had over the past 10 years. So I think that would be the biggest thing.
Thanks, Diana. Thanks for closing out that question. Moving on to the next, we have field-related skills. What knowledge, skills, attributes, and other characteristics are needed in your field of work? So let's have Alice start this one off for us.
Hi. So when I was looking at this question, a lot of different skill sets came into my mind. And it really specific to the job title, the functional group that you're in, right? But if I have to pick one that I think is applicable to, most of the job or titles that are suitable for MBA graduate, if I have to name one, I would say the ability to be to tell a good story with data. I feel like that's something that I see a consistent need in different kind of job titles, whether you are tech management, whether you are consulting, you are in product marketing. Nowadays, we are in a world of big data, and we need to be able to utilize the data that we see coming our way at work, and we need to collect this data and not only understand the data, but be able to extrapolate conclusion out of the data that you use. And that's only step one. Step two is to think of a way to use this data and the conclusion that you was able to extrapolate out from it to form a good story, to tell your business needs, to build your business model, to build your business story. Because your audience can really vary based on different location or job meetings that you are in. You need to be able to tailor your story to different audience that you're facing. If it is a more executive level leadership, and you probably want to tell your story from like a top-down format. And if you're talking to a group of engineers, like technical specialists, you probably want to arrange your story and tell it from a more bottoms-up format. So you need to always think about every time whether you're working in different projects or in different job positions, you'll always need to think about how can I tell a good business story with data-backed evidence. So I feel like that is one of the kind of like a major job skills that I have to pick. And I feel like kind of tying back to the MBA experience, I feel like the UCR MBA class curriculum, it provides a lot of opportunities to help you not utilize what you learned in school, and also within a smaller class setup, we're able to reiterate your findings and your thinkings in class and get feedbacks right away. I feel like that experience from MBA really enhanced this job skills that I see, which I use pretty much every day now.
That's great, Alice. Can I jump in and answer this one too? So
Yeah, go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
yeah, cool. My role specifically requires a mix of both technical and soft skills, and I need to be able to be this bridge between teams, both technical and non-technical. And UCR actually gave me both of that, right? My technical comes from my undergraduate background of computer science. And I need to understand systems well enough to be able to create visualizations with data, as Alice was talking about, to measure the impact of metrics and see the value of the things we launch. And on the other hand, I need to be able to basically lead and have enough empathy and have enough soft skills to empower my team to be able to do their best work. And this is what I got from the MBA program, to understand how teams and organizations are structured. That was crucial. That was one of the first classes I took when I was in the UCR MBA program. And to understand what they do and how they work, and the most efficient form of that organization is what still helps me today in leading my team. So I would say that all the skills I learned at UCR served as the foundation for everything that I do today.
All right, great. And Eric, Diana, and how we're going to have you guys answer another question. This one's going to be dealing with landing a job. What resources were available to you at AGSM, and how did you stand out in the job search?
Yeah, so I can go first with this one. So UCR had we had a plethora of resources. At the time that I was there, we had a career center. We had 3 full-time staff members who were there to support us. Each of them was focused on a specific area. They all had their different specialties based on their own experience and also just benefits they've had from their network over their career, holding their own professional positions in the industry, but also specifically as career consultants. But I didn't limit my resources just to them. I definitely built relationships with them and tried to use the resources that the school had, but I also made sure that I looked outside those lines as well, because it's not guaranteed that in every ecosystem you're going to find what you're specifically looking for. And in order for you to ensure that you meet your goals, I think it's important to, one, take advantage of those relationships that you do have, not just the Career Center, but also from your cohort. If you do plan on attending, it's really important that you take advantage of those relationships, because I consider that really where all the value is. A lot of students have different backgrounds. Some haven't worked much. Others may have more experience than others. And there's just a lot that you can learn about your own specific journey. Hearing from others, maybe learn the right or wrong way to do things, but you really help each other come along through. And I feel like that was probably just as equal as the Career Center. It's just me taking advantage of the relationships that I built. And even me and some of the other people in my cohort stepping out and going to other career fairs and conferences and different things just to get exposure. Really, wherever I can get exposure, I was going. I felt like that was what made me stick out. So I was everywhere, in short. I flipped every page at UCR and every page out.
Thank you.
I can go ahead and jump in since I can kind of build on what he said. So for me, nearing the end of my MBA program, it was 2012. So the labor market was not super great. I think the entire class that I graduated with struggled, in the last several months of our program, as well as for months after. I know, I had close contact with many of them, and we all sort of struggled to, get to land jobs. But for me, speaking of what Hal said, definitely the Career Center, the development program there was available to us. And I think we, at the time, the class size was a good size that we had kind of personal relationships with everyone there. But I actually attended an undergraduate career fair at UC Riverside. So I think, as part of the grad program, you've got the grad program and the MBA and all of those resources, but you also have the larger UC Riverside. You have the community, because UC Riverside is very connected in the community, even throughout the program, as far as internships and those connections. There's a lot of different organizations and groups and companies in the area that are well connected with UCR. I did an internship at a local place in Riverside when I was in my first year, in that summer between the first and second. But I attended that undergraduate career fair. It was actually a STEM job fair, science, technology. And I was studying marketing. My concentration was marketing. So I was like, okay, well, I'm a little out of place here. They're looking for people in that field, but I'm going to go anyways because I need something and I want to find, just like Hal said, put yourself everywhere. So utilizing those resources is actually how I got connected with the company that I joined after graduating as an intern. And I've said this in other places, but following you're graduating, you're done with school, and you want to take an internship, it's kind of like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do, is get an internship. But for me, it's what was there. It was the best choice for me. And it actually landed me the long full-time career opportunity that I have after. So I always tell people when they ask me, like, don't be afraid of those internships or those other sorts of opportunities that maybe aren't exactly what you thought. But I was actually, to get to the point of this, is that it was all through those connections that UC Riverside had and available for us, even those outside the program.
Thank you, Diana.
Can I add on one thing actually to my story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I do want to let you all know, one, I did take on non-paid internships solely because I was trying to get a unique experience that I was getting a little pushback on, just because my background didn't match, but that opened doors for me. I crashed at another school's career fair, and that's where I actually got my first internship. And then I got my first big boy job, which was at Northrop, primarily from a referral from a UCR AGSM MBA graduate. So going back to those relationships, build them while you're there and keep them, because you never know where people go and how you might be able to help another, or someone might be there for you.
All right, Eric, you want to close this question for us?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, as far as resources available to you at AGSM, I mean, you're like looking at one right now, right? AGSM really likes to host these kind of events where you get to learn, unique experiences from people in all aspects of life and different industries, different companies. Right. That's during my time at AGSM, that's all I would do. I would attend all of these kind of, they're not TED Talks, but, these events where they would bring in past alumni. Of course, I would try to go to every single Disney one that showed up, because that's where I was trying to go, right? So I would show up to all of those events and try to, connect with the person on a personal level, because, they probably know that, oh man, here comes this guy trying to make a business professional connection. But no, even just on a personal level, try to meet them. And kind of, as Hal mentioned, you never know where your cohort's gonna go, because you're in the same room with like-minded individuals, successful individuals that also want to get their MBA, right? So you never know who's gonna end up where. You might have people going to the company that you want to go to, or doing experiences that you would like to be a part of. So the biggest resource, oddly enough, is your cohort. And of course, AGSM does a really good job of welcoming back past alumni to share experiences and build new connections.
Thank you. Yeah, connections are single-handedly some of the most important things you can do at UCR. Final words. What is one piece of advice you would give to someone in your shoes when you were deciding to pursue an MBA at UCR? So I'd like each one of you to answer this question, short and simple. Let's start with Diana.
I think the one thing, and we've already sort of all talked about it, but is, if you're trying to figure out where you want to go and what's best for you, is talking to people that have done it. I did the same thing, not, specifically for the master's, but moving jobs, moving companies. I went out and found the people that were at my current company before, and so I could talk to them, hear their experiences. So I think, and, by attending this session, you guys are all already doing that, but just talking to those people and figuring out what it is that they liked about it, and make sure that, those are the right fit, because that's where you're going to get your best information is from those who have had the same experience.
I would say dream big, don't sell yourself short, but be patient and be present. One thing that I could have done better while I was at UCR, I was so focused on getting ahead that sometimes I missed some of the things in the present, just because I was so focused on that specific goal. If you're gonna invest your time here, definitely take it day by day. What I say now is, you can look in the past, but don't stare at it. Don't glance at it for too long. You could plan ahead, but really just focus on the present, because what you do day to day is what's going to build out to that future. So if you're meeting all those tasks, you're going to get what you want. And it might not be in your timing, but it will come. And once you got it, like I said, once you're in the air, you can fly. So just take it day by day, use the resources that you got, and have fun, make the most of it. It's an amazing experience.
Prepare for liftoff. Krishna, Eric, Alice, any of you? Take it away.
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in real quick. One piece of advice, I would say 2 words: start early. And by saying that, I mean, think about if you want to get a job 3 months before you graduate, you should probably start networking 6 months before you try to apply for jobs. And before that, you should probably try going to networking events 3 months before you start, like actually reaching out to more people to network. So you need to do that kind of math to think about how the timeline works. Because MBA, it's, full-time programs 2 years. It sounds like a lot of time, but time goes by really fast. And you need to think about recruiting cycle that happens in the fall, in the spring. And if you want to kind of get ahead of the game, you need to start early and start planning out and like do the math in terms of the timeline.
Krishna, you're up next. Let's go. You first.
Yeah, sounds good. I know there's probably a lot of people who might have some anxiety about an uncertain future. So I would tell you to, take a breather, breathe, write down your ambitious goals and the steps necessary to get there. And hopefully UCR is in your plans to get there. And, have faith in your own actions that you'll end up where you want to be.
Thank you.
All right. And my one piece of advice for someone deciding on a business master's program, honestly, my advice is to just, if you're on the fence about applying to a certain school or what have you, I would say, apply. If you have the means and resources to apply, please do it. You'll never know the answer until you actually apply. And also, I guess one piece of advice to consider when you're applying to schools, right? Because you have a plethora of, you have many choices, right, to where you want to go. I would say consider the network that you are trying to build, right? If you're trying to get into the entertainment industry, like I was, consider schools in the LA or, Inland Empire, something close to the entertainment field. If you're thinking about going into tech, maybe somewhere in Silicon Valley where it's very possible to interact with people involved with, tech or such. So I would very heavily consider the network and the geographic region, just proximity of who you're trying to connect with. And those are my two little pieces of advice for now.
Thank you. And that concludes our questions. If the panelists want to ask or say anything else before we turn it over to Tamara for her conclusion and ending, please go ahead, and we're going to open up Q&A after Tamara finishes the presentation. So thank you again. I'm so happy you guys all came. It was a pleasure to meet you all. And I look forward to connecting with you, and I hope that people who also attended do the same.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks so much. So I'm just going to briefly share my screen once again. And I'm going to quickly talk about the few programs that we do have to offer that you could join. So we do have our MBA, which is a 2-year program, our Master of Finance, our Master of Professional Accountancy, and our brand new Master of Science in Business Analytics are all 1-year programs. They can be extended out 1 additional quarter. But these are all STEM designated programs for those of you that are joining us internationally. We are really excited about every program that we do have to offer. Currently, we have almost 600 students in all of our programs, and that is actually considered a small graduate business program. It means that we are a small community, and we really, truly are kind of a family. Additionally, as I said, they are STEM designated, so you would get up to 3 years of OPT if you are an international student. And currently we have about 36 different countries that are represented. So we are very diverse, not just in our ethnicity, but many other things as well. Our MBA program is a 2-year program. In the first year, you're taking 9 core business courses. And in that second year, you can choose from one of our 6 areas of concentration. I wanted just to show really quickly our class profile. We are about 45% female and about 48% international. And as you can see, Not even half of our students come from a business background. So we, again, as I said earlier, are very diverse in that undergraduate major. I think that's great because it really brings so many different opinions and viewpoints to the classroom. Our average GPA is a 3.59 and our average GMAT is a 632. These are averages, so remember that. If your GPA is not quite a 3.59, but you have other things that can enhance your profile, that is great as well. Our application is super easy to do. You just need a resume, unofficial transcripts and degree certificate, one letter of recommendation, and one essay. If you are an international student, you will need a TOEFL or IELTS. The nice thing is we are test optional right now for GMAT and GRE, just due to everything that's been going on in the last couple of years. Does it enhance your profile? It most definitely does, but it is not a requirement. Really quickly there, go ahead and take a screenshot or a picture of that, and you can see this is our staff. We are all there to help you achieve your dreams of coming to UCR's AGSM to get your graduate degree. Now, I just want to open this up quickly because I know that this is only an hour long and we want to give some time in case you have a question for one of our amazing alumni. I believe I saw a question and I'm sure one of you answered that because that question is gone. But if anyone has a question, please feel free to type it in the chat or the Q&A. Seth is available as a current student that could also answer a question from a student-centric standpoint. And of course, our amazing alumni are willing to answer questions. I think this has been a great event to really hear about industry and what you can expect. So we do have a question. How did you find out which industry you wanted to pursue? All right, one of you amazing alums, why don't you just take it away? Who would like to answer that? Unmute and just go for it.
All right. So I was not married to an industry. So I was looking for the specific work I was trying to do. I was looking for a specific industry and it kind of fell in my hands. I had a few places of interest and I didn't land any of those places. I landed somewhere totally different and I love it.
Thanks, Hal. Krishna, did I see you unmuting?
Yeah. So I tried a couple of different things once I got into the industry. I went into a pure web-based technology SaaS company at first, and then decided to jump to an agency that purely did marketing tech and marketing technology. So I was client facing for a little bit. And then I realized that that world wasn't for me. And I ended up at Hulu, where I kind of got more of a product management type experience. And from that, I was able to decide that I wanted to stay more in that type of role. And it doesn't matter which industry that I was in. I just happened to end up at Google.
Great, thanks, Krishna. Okay, we have another question. Does being an international student restrict the choice of industries that we can pursue? Were any of you international students? If none of you were international students?
Technically.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alice.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I went through that process. Not for my when I was undergrad, I was an international student, but for MBA, I was not, but I can still see how, I went through that experience and I saw the challenges and obstacles firsthand. And I would say, there's definitely industry that probably will have a higher requirements in terms of your, your identity status. So I think I would say, like telecom, or probably, like the defense industry will have that requirements. But I feel like a lot of the business that recruit business majors or MBAs, they don't. I actually have peers in the program and also friends from other MBA programs that recruit in consulting, IP, or just like tech management in general. They actually tech industry specifically, right? They actually have a lot of resources for international students if you do need that visa sponsorship. So I said, yes, there are industries out there that have limitation, telecom, for example, but there's a lot options out there for international students. You just need to kind of, like be aware of that and do your homework a little bit before you enter into the recruiting process.
Great, thanks so much, Alice. Krishna, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I think Alice captured mostly everything. I think with diversity and inclusion programs, there are more opportunities out there these days.
Excellent, great. Thank you so much, everyone. We literally have time for probably one super quick question if anyone has one. And one of the things that I'm always telling individuals, especially our current students and incoming students, is try to network, really reach out to individuals. And whether it's you reach out to some of our alums, our current students, staff, or faculty, especially on LinkedIn. It's a great place to network. I'd like to take this opportunity first to thank Seth so much for being our moderator this evening. He actually jumped in at the last minute for me because we had somebody that was not feeling well. I want to thank each of our amazing alums. I actually have had the privilege of knowing them, and they truly are those that are great about giving back to their alma mater. So once again, thank you so much. We have one quick question. If anyone wants to answer this, is programming background necessary to get a product manager role? Does anybody want to answer that super quick?
I can answer that not because I'm a product manager, but in product marketing, we work hand in hand with product managers, and I would say no. At least all the ones that I've worked with in my years is, it's more of an understanding of building a product, who's the audience, what are the needs, the goals, putting something like that into fruition. And I think a lot of companies now, if you did need to do anything beyond that, they also are open to training and they understand that. But yeah, as far as I know, all the product manager type roles I've interfaced with, that's not a necessary skill.
Great, thank you so much, Diana. And again, this was great because you got information directly from individuals, our alum that are out in industry. Thank you to our alums. Thank you to all of you for joining. We look forward to having you join us as an AGSM student in the fall of 2022.